Yeah! Let's go! Ryan, the excluded male, coming at you from the back shack.
You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to turn on my Wi-Fi.
Ah, fired, sir. Oh, we're going.
You're gonna have to use
Going
your phone.
raw.
We have to look up something.
We don't even have my phone. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I do have my phone. Let me grab it here, man. Hey, well, first things first, man. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ryan. Happy
That's good
birthday
shit.
to you. Yeah. Ryan, leveling up. Leveling up.
So, I am leveling up.
Yeah, you are, man.
I'll be 44.
44, man. The 4-4.
I mean, actually, the day that this gets posted might be on my birthday.
Man, that's a good number right there, man.
Technically, it's tomorrow, but
44, man. You're ancient, dude. You're old, man. You got me. I'm younger than that, man.
not by much.
Not by much, but you got me, man. You're
You're
ancient,
gonna
dude.
catch up with me this year.
Dang, man. How's it feel like that, man? The crypt keeper, man.
Let me tell you about it.
Man,
You
you're
know,
young,
dude,
man.
a
I
lot
wouldn't even say
better.
you're a prime. You're not even at the prime, man.
So years ago, and I guess this would kind of matter. In my mid to late teens, I had already come to think that I probably wouldn't live past 25. And then once I got to 25, I thought it'd be a miracle if I lived out in my 30s. And at 25, I was totally sober. I just got out of treatment. I mean, it was actually kind of a weird time for a lot of things. I don't know, I didn't have a party. You know? I mean, people came over, but I was so used to like partying, you know. And but what I found here lately is, in fact, we were just talking about before we came out here. I've still had a lot of fun at my birthday. It's been interesting, actually. And so it'll be fun though. No surprises though.
Yeah. I already got that one sorted out.
Well, I mean, nobody had really said much about it, and so like I was kind of like organizing my own thing here, and I was talking to Trisha's daughter, and she just couldn't hold it. She said, "I may or may not have already reserved the table for 20." You know, and I was like,
Did you catch it last week when I almost slipped up? Did you catch it last week? Because you were like, well, you said something about like, well, next week's my birthday, and I was like, well, I'll probably catch you at Play Azul then or something.
I wouldn't have thought anything.
Yeah, that's
honestly,
what I said, just off the cuff. You know what I mean?
I've
you
already
had
been
said you
talking
were.
about
Yeah,
it
you said you were
with
going
people.
Wednesday or
Well, we did either Wednesday or Thursday. I wanted
Yeah.
at first. I was like, well, I was off today because we get our birthday off paid.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I've been off all week again, so I had that PTO time. It's like money in my pocket. When it's there, I just use it as soon as I can. What if they fired me or something? I didn't get to use it, you know? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it is, and it's almost it's almost bittersweet in a way. Like I love that I can celebrate my birthday and my family's going to be there, and the way I look at family is so different. I mean, my dad won't be there, my brother's not going to be there. My wife is, you know, and hopefully my boys. I don't know. It'd be interesting if they show up, cause some mass chaos. But the way I would describe my family is so different than I anticipated earlier. I'm a family-oriented guy. I love family stuff.
Me too.
And my kids' mom, she had a really big family. She was one of 8. So when we got together, it was a large group. I love that. I love that part. And I only have, at the time, growing up, I only had one little brother. I mean, I have a huge family now, biologically, which is very strange because I didn't meet him until about 6 years ago. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think a lot of people probably share that. You know what I mean?
No, for sure, man.
You have a pretty big family.
Oh yeah,
though.
yeah. Family's
You
amazing,
know?
man. I really take that to core as well. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
love
it's
that.
so important.
Yeah, it is, man. And yeah, you know, speaking on early on too, it's like once you envision things to kind of go and see, it's just, I don't know. I didn't see it, man.
Yeah.
I always see myself really not having much of a family. You know, like you, I always see myself. I didn't see myself not making it to 25. I never really seen myself making it to 40.
Yeah.
That was kind of my age where I never really seen much after that.
Yeah.
And
I don't know, man.
and then as you progress and as you move, And man, I'm so glad I made it past 40 though. Because I mean,
Absolutely.
I would say I'm living my best life ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And steadily, like every day that I wake up,
The
it's
struggle's
like,
different.
dude, it's like, man, it's the best day ever. Like I wake up, I feel that I take in that breath, you know what I mean, of the life, you know what I mean, of that awakening moment, and it's just like, it feels so good. And I'm just like, man, I mean, you're stacking W's right off the gate. And I think, and I don't know if it's because my perspective was so skewed, you know, early on in those addictive type years and that addiction type behavior, and you're just a reckoning, you know what I mean? And then as you progress and as you begin to move and you have growth and you begin to be exposed to that true truth, you know, of Christ and of actual true love and joy and peace and just, you know what I mean, all that comes with that, and really experience that and truly be reborn, and you become that reborn ready mode. And then I get to that, and then now that I know that I never really seen myself making it past that 40-year mark, and then I remember when I hit that 40, dude, that's when I kind of started changing a lot of things, man. I really started getting into running. I started getting into working out. Like I remember when I hit 40, I was like, it's time to change some things, man. And I really took it to another level. And you know, and like I said, every day since then, it's like almost like a heart change, a mind change. Like it's completely different, Ryan. And then you take into that family, like man, truly blessed, man. Truly blessed. Like when I see
think
my
of all
kids.
the years where you're out using or doing whatever, drink, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The separation, because it's like you might show up for something, but there's always something better to do.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys ain't done unwrapping presents yet? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I never experienced that growing up. My kids probably, I would say, did in some aspects, but there again, it's like everybody was using anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like you were just
Smoking
checked
and
out
drinking.
almost, man.
Well, I mean, I guess it was like the kids did their thing and the adults did their thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would hedge a bet if my kids went to a traditional Christmas, right? Like I was raised in a traditional Christmas. We didn't, I don't know. The definition of that's probably so different than it was in the 80s, but they would be like, WTF. I couldn't think of a good way to say it.
Oh, that's so funny.
This was exactly what they'd say. They'd be like, dang, bruh, what is this? You know, or something. You know, especially the others. But,
For real, though.
But it's interesting, and it kind of goes like, I mean, we talk about this often, is like how fast things change. So even you, so you're 39 one day, and the next day you're 40, and you wake up, you're like, I'm going to start running 100 miles.
Yeah, I was like, it's about to change,
And
man. You gotta change it up, baby.
I have to think so.
Well, you know,
You weren't, when I first met you, you were not running.
no, because it was just like, I just remember coming to it, and I was just like, man, like, you
Were
know what I
running
mean?
before Texas?
Yeah.
Probably
Just, I mean, I was just getting started.
That's coming up 3 years.
Yeah, because at that point, I was only doing like 2 5Ks a week.
Yeah.
And I was doing like a 30-minute session every day, just kind of real light, you know, kind of feeling into it. Because, I mean,
Mostly jogging.
yeah, you know, just kind of, just to
You don't
start
even
to feel
jog
it out.
anymore. You like literally run.
It's crazy, man. Well, I do some slow running, right?
Well, weirdly
Don't
enough,
let
it
fool you,
does
man.
drive me crazy.
Yeah.
I
But
just
it's just
do not
like,
appreciate
yeah,
running that
and that's
much.
what I don't know. It's just like something clicked, and I was like, man, I started really wanting to see myself differently, and I was like, man, at this progression, like I'd never seen myself hitting that 40 mark, and then I was like, at that progression, I was like, I don't, you know, then I started thinking like, man, I made it to 40, and I had a reckoning. I was like, if I keep on this track, you know, in this way, in this fashion, like, man, I might not make it to 50, and at that point, I was like, I kind of want to see 50. You know, I kind of want to see 60. I want to see, you know what I mean? I have a different, like, idea of life now, man, because before it was like I still don't really want to be here, and don't really care that I am here, but it's like I just find a little difference in the joy, I guess, of it.
I think you should elaborate on that. I understand what you're saying, just because, I mean, even the book says, like, if you don't feel like you're a stranger in this world, in the world. So I don't feel like a stranger when I walk into a church house. It's weird. Even if I'm not a part of that church, right? If I'm visiting somewhere, I don't feel like a stranger when God is available at. You know what I mean? I don't feel like a stranger when I walk in your house. Now, I will say, I walk in some houses where I feel extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, you walk into some places where you're totally out of place.
But I've walked
You
into a
can feel
restaurant
it.
where I felt uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, I still walk
But
in there.
I think
Head up,
personal-
heart up,
Oh,
feeling
yeah.
strong, baby.
Yeah.
Got a different presence about me, man.
I just start praying usually.
Yeah.
First thing, and I think this is something that we, maybe not me and you, but I think in general, that a lot of times when we ask for God to look out for us, we're not specific enough. And I'm not saying that, I mean, God gets it, and I get that the book, it says, the Holy Spirit utters the words that we can't utter. But if you're not in good contact with the Holy Spirit,
If you're not on that connection
then
level,
who's
it's not like
uttering
one day you
for
just
you?
put. It's not like a light switch. You know what I mean?
not very often.
Well,
There
you
are
gotta
times
watch
I've
yourself.
seen
I was gonna say, yeah, hold on.
But in
Take it back. Take my words
if
back.
if you look at it,
You gotta stay in contact, connection.
Conscious-
You gotta be
constant
drawing
contact.
in. Yeah.
So then,
Yeah, the light switches will happen. I take that back.
yeah. Well, we like to call them lightning strikes.
Lightning strikes.
Lightning strikes.
Yeah.
What is it called? Not kinesis. Oh, I can't even remember now.
Kratos,
Well, that.
Dunamis. We talked about that on that last podcast.
I should know this. This is the problem I have with recall and keeping my facts straight. And it's like,
Kratos would be like the lighting of the fuse.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And then that boom would be that Dunamis power.
Kairos moment. That's what I was trying to say. Kairos.
Yeah, there you
K-I-R-O-S. I just used my last brain cells trying to think of what that word was. I am totally.
Hey, 44 is going to get tougher.
Swear
Ron,
one.
that's what they say, man.
Dude,
I think
this-
we're getting better, though. Dude,
this
I
is-
think we're on the path of getting better every day and in every way, like I continuously say. So even as we get older, like I said, it's more of a mindset. Like, I can't, drives me nuts when people are like, oh, you're just getting old, man. You're getting old. Not really, man. I don't think I'm getting old, man. In fact, I'm getting better. Thank you. Like, yeah, I'm getting better.
I think there's some
You're getting
virtue.
better, man.
There's some virtue that comes with the days that tick by, and for me,
Experience, wisdom.
there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We hope to turn to wisdom.
For real.
There's an appreciation. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think I'd live past 25, and then at 25, even though I was in recovery, I'd just gotten out of treatment. I stayed sober 2.5 years. My body was in such poor shape. Every job I've had has been extremely physical. I rebuilt railroad cars for a long time, and just out in the heat, I'd be on the hill right over here at Hutch Salt, rebuilding these old railroad cars that are 50 years old, and this was before treatment, so I was still drinking every day, lots and lots of methamphetamines. The whole crew was on, and in that short 3 years, I did a lot of damage to my body. Between the work environment, which is tough, because everything's heavy, there were times where inside the rail cars would be 130 degrees and we would weld one stick. So there's 4 of us, we'd weld one stick and take rotations. And it was brutal. And even then you're not cool because you're up on top of a hill on top of a railroad car with no daggum shade.
Yeah, probably on like no sleep, partied all night.
More often than not.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, it's crazy as you think
More often
back.
than
Like
not.
I think back too, like that too. The stuff I've done, for work wise, and just that brutal environment you're in, and then not to mention, like you said, what you're doing to yourself.
Party, yeah.
Oh, dude, like you party all night. Maybe lucky to get to bed by 4:30.
And then you don't even really sleep.
Yeah,
you just
they-
lay down to pretend you slept.
Oh,
so you
dude.
can say you went to bed.
Yeah, then you just kind of
It's
lay
a
there with your eyes
psychological
closed or something, and then you're pouncing up. Boom, you go right to work, and it's not no easy work. I mean, you're hard labor, hot. You ain't getting no break, man. And then you're out there sweating, you're getting it, and then you get off work, and then boom, you just start that rotation again, man. And then you do it again,
Oh,
man.
yeah, it's a revolving. Yeah. Well, it
Incredible.
becomes normal.
Yeah, it's almost like incredible what the body can handle. It's like
It is.
that's why that's probably why you didn't think you would live the age you lived, and that's probably why I didn't think
Well,
I'd
yeah.
live the way I lived.
So
it was just
bad-
like, dude, I'm a reckoning force, man.
The
To the
bad part
body,
is,
to the spirit, to the mind, everything.
in recovery, 25 years old, 2 kids. I was reevaluating, a little bit on how I lived my life, obviously, which I did eventually fall back into drinking and occasionally cocaine, mushrooms, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to glorify any of that, but I still did not have an appreciation. Like, I wasn't thankful for more days. I almost was in regret at some points that I was like, I wish I had died.
Yeah, why am I still here?
My
man?
kids would have been young, they would have not remembered me, all these different things. And it affected me for a long time. I mean, I've had one suicide, like serious suicide too. All the rest of the time is just like reckless living. You know what I mean? Oh, the speedometer says 140. You've had a fifth of whiskey. Let's see if it'll do 140 on this bumpy blacktop. You know, and everybody in the car is holding on for dear life. I had no regard for their life either.
And I think you hit it on the handle there. It was like you didn't have that appreciation. And as you say that, maybe that's what clicked in me. Like I said, I never seen myself getting to that 40, and then I hit that 40 mark, and it'd been in the back of my head for years, decades, whatever, that I wasn't going to get there. And then all of a sudden you get there, and it's like all of a sudden you have a different type of gratitude and appreciation, man. Because then it's all of a sudden you start taking inventory. You start seeing all the grace that's been bestowed upon you, and then at this time you are in active recovery. You know what I mean? And then your mindset's different. You know what I mean? And you're seeing all this coming to fruition. You know what I mean? And you're just like, it just speaks of gratitude in those moments. And it's like,
the other thing too is I didn't value other people's life either. Not even my kids. I mean, I did because I was a dad. You know what I'm saying?
Took care of responsibilities to a point.
I did. I mean, I probably in some aspects more than others, and in some aspects less than others.
Right.
You know, and I have good boys. They're polite, and and they work hard.
No, yeah, your boys are amazing.
But I would not dispute that, and I'm probably the first to advocate for their wins, but I'm also the first to remind them of their losses.
Yeah.
You know,
that's kind of part of the dad, though. You know what I mean?
But
that discipline factor almost, and just a reminder to kind of keep their egos in check. Because them boys,
they're my little best friends.
Yeah.
My dad was my best friend, and weirdly enough, I hadn't talked to him in quite a while when he got moved back to Topeka. But I talked to him the other day for the first time in almost over a year.
Yeah, it made me smile when you told me that the other day.
Caught me at work.
Yeah.
Of course, last time I saw him, I was trying to get on disability because I wasn't able to work, and so when I told him I was working, I mean, it was like dead silence for what felt like for eternity. And he goes, "Oh, you're being serious?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm working. Guess where?" He's like, "Where?" I said, "I work at a drug treatment facility." He goes, "Huh? Go figure."
Yeah. What's the chances, man?
A little over 7 years. There's about 7 years ago, you were trying to send me to one.
Yeah.
Now I work at one day.
Yeah.
Huh?
How's that work out? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a good conversation. It was short, but it was good. So me and him share a birthday. His birthday is the same day as mine, which I think is incredibly awesome because I'm adopted. And I used to joke all the time. I said, you probably wrote my birth certificate. You just wanted it. You know what I mean? And so yeah, but we do share the same birthday. It's kind of since he moved to Topeka, right before I got sober, he moved to Topeka, and that first birthday without him was kind of sad. Even though I had all those people around me were just talking, it was like, dang, my dad's not here. Now he did end up driving down when we went out to eat, but it wasn't on my birthday. You know, back in the day when it was just me and him, restaurants would give you a free meal, but you had to buy a meal to get the free meal.
So, yes, he wanted if he's getting gypped.
Well, no, it was actually good for my friends because it'd be like, Ryan, find two of your friends, let's go out to eat so we can get these free dinners. And we had it down, like we had a place for lunch, first supper, and second supper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Usually he just had pie at second supper, but I had a full chicken fried steak again. But I like to eat. But yeah, so talk about
I was about to
life.
change subject right there, man. Because I just had a huge steak.
Did you?
Man, a couple nights ago, man. Oh, so good. I had a big old ribeye, dude. Like,
You like flat irons?
I mean, they're not bad.
They're on sale
not
right now,
bad.
just for the record. $5 off. They're $7.99 instead of $12.99. I told Trisha we were there earlier, and I have the money for the deposit for my part of it, and I'm pretty much broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I said, well, we'll be on sale when you get your check too. Last time, listen, dude. This is why I love my wife. This is like her random acts of kindness. We were having this dinner once a week. We'd have a group of people, mostly the same. One time a week was kids and the grandkids. The other time was friends, recovery, whatever. Yeah. And so we've been eating just whatever. And she said, this Friday we're having steak. And I said, we invited like 2 people over, Trisha. That's a lot of money. Yeah. And so flat irons were on sale. She bought a grip of them. They were $6.99 a pound at time. But yeah.
I got a nephew that's his favorite steak, man.
I don't mind them. I just like any. I'll eat anything that comes out of the cow pretty much.
Yeah, oh yeah. Nothing wrong with some beef, man. Beef.
I'm not big on the brains and that kind of and stuff and whatnot.
Dude, what about the stomach, man? Oh,
So-
see, I'm not too much of a fan. I've tried it. I
What,
remember I
in
went.
Menudo?
Dude, I went
What'd you eat
to.
it in?
Oh, it was like a soup,
That's
man.
Menudo, yeah.
Dude,
Mexican.
yeah.
That's Mexican.
Well, yeah, I used to be good friends with this Mexican buddy. I mean, they're straight from Mexico, man. You know, and
You
heck,
probably
I.
put big chunks in trash.
Oh, dude, big old chunks, and I never had it before.
Super chewy.
But and they invite me to dinner quite often,
Yeah.
so it's like, but you know, I'm real respectful, especially you know in a setting like that. It doesn't matter, and you know, I'm not, dude, I'll eat anything.
Swallow.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there, and I mean, dude, I've went over there several occasions and had just amazing
food,
meals,
yeah.
dude. And he'd asked me if I had this before, and I was like, no. And I remember his wife kind of laughed a little bit. I think she kind of knew what I was about to have it. And she didn't really speak much English at all. He did, you know. And I remember sitting down at that table.
Dude, was his name Scott?
No.
Okay.
No, Jose.
Oh, yeah, he said he's from Mexico. Never
Yeah.
mind. I have a buddy, he's white. his wife's
Jose
from
with a
Mexico.
J. No.
Jose.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But they brought it down, set the bowls out, you know, and I remember biting into it. And, you know, they knew and I said I'd never tried it before.
But you have to admit,
And I remember like, and I bit it.
it tastes amazing.
Dude, I did not like it.
The
right?
flavor of the soup, the broth, and all the stuff that's
Nah.
in there tastes amazing.
I don't know.
The tripe doesn't even really have a lot of flavor.
Dude, I just thought it was.
It kind of tastes like it tastes a lot like, to me it tastes a little bit like fat.
I don't know, man. Whatever. It did not taste good to me. Like it had a bad taste. And maybe it's the way she prepared it. I don't know.
I
but
don't like it because of the consistency.
I know. Yeah, I know. That was the only meal that I ever sat at that table that I did not like. Well, I appreciated it, but I did not like it because you know what I mean. I was just thankful anyways
Yeah.
because I mean they're welcoming me into their home.
Well, you gotta think some of that
So
stuff.
there was much gratitude in
If
that.
you
That's why I
grew
sat
up
there and
eating
ate it, and I didn't really
Yeah.
say much. I did say I didn't really care for it much. Not something I'm going to eat on a regular basis, but I ate it though.
If
for
you
sure.
had just had just the broth, I mean, it's so
Probably,
yummy.
maybe, but I couldn't, dude. It was.
But
it was
the
not good.
consistency. I've had
I will
it.
never eat that again.
Yeah.
To tell you that
I've
right
had
now.
it where
Unless
where
I'm
the
starved.
tripe was cut into really really small pieces. So really, and it was cooked well. So it was like, I don't know. It just didn't have that. It didn't hang out in your mouth long.
Oh, that stuff did, man. It was bad.
I eat a lot of weird stuff. I don't like fish and that kind of stuff though. But,
I
yeah.
like fish, man. I love
So, since we're talking about life and all these great life experiences,
Oh man, you want to hear another life experience
I
had
do, yeah.
a couple days ago before you start?
Yeah.
This is exciting, man. Okay, so I have not been golfing in probably like 15 years, dude.
That's cool.
Like I remember I used to love golfing. I was actually getting very good at golfing, but it's just very time consuming. And, coming up 15 years ago, you got little kids, married. I mean, you just got responsibilities.
you're
And I-
43. You're almost retired.
yeah, and I just didn't have time for the golfing, but I was trying to make time, so I was making waves and whatever else. So I just was like, well, I'm done. I'm done golfing. So sold the clubs, got rid of them. I think I sold the clubs maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember when I sold the clubs, but they just sit there forever. So I was like, I'm done. I'm over it. Not doing it no more. And just gave up golfing. Kept the clubs for a long time. Finally got rid of those. And then the other day I got invited to go golfing. And I was like, dude, I have not golfed.
Where do you guys go?
That's what I said, 15 years. So they're like, and then the customer was actually coming up, and I was like, dude, I don't golf, man. And that's what I told him. He's like, well, I'm coming up, Ryan, and the only person I want to see is you. And he's like a top tier customer, and it's for work. And I'm all like, man, I was just like, he's like, you're coming on the course with me, man. So you're the only one I want to hang out with, really.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out, man. And known the guy forever just through work, and I only met him a couple times. This is actually the second time I've met him face to face, but I talk to him all the time. And so he comes up, and so we go to the Highlands over here.
That's a good course.
So we go to the Highlands. So I don't even have golf clubs, so I'm trying to find some clubs. This guy lets me borrow like a little set he just has, and so I grab the set and throw it in the truck. We go out to the Highlands, and it's me, him, and another guy. And one of those 4 of us. He brought a set up here. So we go to the Highlands, and and that's why I said, like, my buddy's like, dude, you haven't golfed? Well, the other guy, the outside sales guy, he's like, dude, you haven't golfed in that long? You're going golfing? And I was like, yeah. I was like, dude, I tell him, I was like, dude, I'm a natural athlete, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm natural, man. You better watch it out, man.
Right.
Like, I'm going to the flag. that's all I got to do is just keep moving to the flag. That's all it is, just as in life.
Yeah.
I see the prize, I see the flag, and I'm going to move to it. And I got mind control too, man. Golf is played right between there, man. 5-6 inches, baby. I got this.
Yeah.
And so we line up, and everyone's cracking up, you know what I mean? We get on the drive, we start driving. And I'm hitting balls pretty good. And then we start tee time, tee times in the morning, so I tee off. And dude, tee off, nice shot, man, right out the gate, dude. It was, I was like, oh yes, like I'm not looking like an idiot out here. And so played a very good game, but dude, we get to hole number 13, man. It's a par 3, dude. This is a beautiful course too, man.
Oh yeah.
And so it's a par 3, it's hole number 13, and I'm first up. So or no, I think I was second up. So I set the tee down. And it's a short 3, so I grabbed the old pitcher, And I'm asking, this guy golfs all the time, obviously, that I'm golfing with. And, I just keep asking what he's using, so I just use the same club, And so he's using the pitcher, so I'm using the pitcher. And so I grab my pitching wedge. Dude, I get up there, and boom, I hit this shot. And, dude, it is a perfect, it's an amazing shot, Ryan. Just flies up there. And this is why I love golfing so much. And I was like, dude, I'm ready to go golfing again. Love it so much, dude. It flies up, hits probably, 6-7 feet, maybe 8 feet past the pin. Boom, we walked up there and seen the divot. Hits it, and dude, just a slow roll back.
Yeah.
Dude, just slowly rolling right to the pin, man, right to the hole. And you can watch it, dude. Everybody's just stops. And you can see everyone just staring at the hole like, dude, it's going in. It's going in.
Yeah.
And dude, it stops. I kid you not. Probably 6 inches from the hole, man.
That's
stops
fine.
right
That's
there.
a shot.
Dude, dude, hole in one out there. They say that they give you $250
Yeah.
for a hole in one.
Well, maybe not. I don't know if it's be a
Now maybe you do.
I don't know how that works.
Not sure either. But anyways, dude,
I like bragging
it was
rights.
close. So yeah, life experience. That was the closest I've ever had to a hole in one.
Yeah.
And I was out there having golf for so long. And you talk about an experience that'll just bring it right back to that game. You know what I mean?
I have always, and I don't know if it's just, well, I was ready to say I can't golf well because I'm fat, but then I think of John Daly.
Dude, he's a beast, man.
Well, yeah, 36 Miller Lights and still wins stuff, but
Yeah.
that's, God bless him,
Different level, man.
I played golf a few times when I was younger, like in my teens, and I always enjoyed it, but I always had such a terrible baseball swing because I played a lot of baseball,
Yeah.
so it was like hard for me to make that adjustment with my body.
Yeah.
And my cousin, who's like, I don't even know how tall he is now, but he was like towered over me. He's only a year older than me. His clubs, he has some longer clubs, and so I would do all right with them. But yeah, my 20s, it was all about drinking beer. We would go, and most of the time it was little golf courses. Some of them didn't even have grass greens; they were sand greens, so we just played up to the greens. So we didn't have to break them. But my favorite thing, bar none, is just to smash the ball with whatever suit or drive throws. Golf is so relaxing. I think it is a great, even frisbee golf, which I
Dude,
don't,
see, that's what I picked up.
I don't do
Golf,
either
man.
one.
I like
Well, it's
disc golf.
fast. It's as fast as you want to go. If you want to go slow, you can. If you want to go fast, you can.
I love some disc
Very
golf. I
rarely
play
you have
that
to
pretty
wait on other
steadily.
people because they're moving too, you know.
Yeah, I like some disc golf.
And it's a different breed of people. I mean, honestly, they're my people.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it is. I mean,
You see more of those excluded, those ones that are excluded from the middle.
exactly. So.
Oh, the excluded middle. Yeah, you see more
There's a
of
fair
those.
amount of people in recovery that play. There's a couple frisbee golf tournaments around and football tournaments.
Yeah.
It's good. But, yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, all the good stuff. There we go.
Yeah.
This is-
man.
well, I mean, we just briefly discussed it. I mean, how do you even? I don't even know how to lead into this really, but I feel so obligated to talk about it because I think.
Well, yeah, I can probably lead into it a little bit, man. Because even if you're having such those highs, you know what I mean. Those lows will come.
Yeah.
Even if you are in recovery, even if you're not, you know what I mean. Even if you're on this right track or wherever you are at in your pace of life, or wherever you are at, things are going to come at you that are going to fold you, man,
Yeah.
and they're going to break you, or at least try. They're going to give it a go, and life has a good way of chewing you up, man.
Oh, yeah.
And especially if you're moving in such ways, man. And if early on, again, it doesn't matter your walk of life there, what you're doing, but but those who have like past addictive type behaviors. You know what I mean? And you haven't got to that level, or even if you have, you still have to be prepared, and you still have to be ready. And that's again, I mean, you can take that however. That's why those 12 steps are so important, that you continuously work those throughout your life.
And it goes beyond substance use.
Yeah.
I mean, I've come to believe that people at any given moment are in recovery from something.
Yeah.
Grief,
Oh yeah.
guilt, shame. I mean, there's something.
Yeah.
Loss of loved ones, loss of a dog. I mean, it could be whatever.
Yeah.
There's just so many different things. But I think that for me, it's like from the outside looking in, I can't understand going back to that lifestyle. And I'm not saying that it couldn't happen. I have to be vigilant.
Exactly. You have to be ready.
But
man.
when I
It's
see
very-
someone who's seemingly from the outside looking in is doing well,
Mm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like they're checking a lot of the boxes. Of course, hindsight's the 20/20 vision.
Exactly.
So now, after something happens, then the truth comes out, or the assumed truth. Some of it's probably just factual. But yeah, so I mean, just to get to the skinny is in our local areas another overdose, and
those always hit hard, Ryan.
it does.
Dude, like every time I hear one, dude,
Well, it's 'cause you
I
have
mean,
compassion for people.
yeah, dude, it just breaks, because I guess you have just man, just a
When you think about
gratitude
all
for
aspects
life.
of it, you think about the
And those that life is important, man.
preservation
It is
of life
important.
so
man.
important.
It is important. It
So
is.
somewhere along the way, someone dropped the ball. Whether it was the first, it doesn't matter. But the whole point is, like, I see these over and over again, people that seemingly are doing well, and then this happens. So we could rewind to October with Travis. We could rewind to that with Brian. I mean, Trisha has a list. So I think Trisha's list now is at 39 in 7 years. And not every person are we close with the individual, might be their family, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you think about it, there's kids that lost a mom, there's a mom, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
The list goes
just
on
just
and
beautiful
on.
boys too, man. It's just like,
Yeah.
and that's what hurts too, because it's like like they lose focus, or you lose focus of that, and I think that's why as I progress, you know what I mean, in my life, I just keep finding more gratitude in things. You know what I mean? I try to put more focus in that, because if you begin to lose sight of that,
Right.
you begin
At the
to
basic level, you're
yeah,
right.
you begin to crack open doors.
I think
You know what I
there's
mean? And
another-
those little doors open up, and things begin to come through, and that's why you have to work them too. I mean, you have to go way back, and that shadow work,
Yeah.
if you want to so call it, or like you say, trading pain for peace. However you
Yeah.
want to look at that. I mean, that is crucial, and it is important, because those will come back at you, man, and you have to handle them. And it's better to handle those, I would say, when you want to confront them, you want to look at them. It's like, let's go, man, let's bring it, instead of you trying to mask those and continuously just kind of ignore those and push those back. They will come up, and then usually when they come up, they're so intense and so strong, and you're not ready to handle those. They'll hit you, blindside you, and then you look for that masking, that band-aid, you look for that cover-up, because you can't just push them back. So then you'll go to that substance. I'm not saying that's what happened, but
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah,
but we're talking in general.
in general, that's usually
So,
it's usually
where
what
I
comes
think-
up. So you try to do what you know. You go back to old habits, old behaviors, and that's what you did. You would go to a substance, man, so you didn't have to feel those emotions.
And I
or you
will
didn't have
say,
to feel such things.
a small percentage of people that are in recovery that relapse, on God's honest truth, it has nothing to do with anything. They just want to get high.
Oh yeah, they just want to get high. Yeah,
The numbers for that, I would say, and I don't have any factual data. This is my personal conjecture, but I think the numbers for that are low. So I had a sponsee, Brett, that passed away, and I talked to him multiple times a week. He was going to the meetings, and I can only speculate on what happened. This is, like I said, this is just the unknown, because nobody knows, because nobody will fess up to anything, obviously. But he'd been clean for 6 months, and one of two things, well, probably a combination of two. One, he wanted to hang out with his chick, and at the same time wanted to get high. Didn't have any particular reason, he just wanted to get high, and
Or that's what he did. I mean, but then again, you're going back to those old type behaviors, man.
well, it is,
Especially early on in
right,
recovery.
but
like,
I'm saying it wasn't because things were going bad.
oh yeah, yeah.
It wasn't even because things were going good.
Well, sometimes it's just a
You know?
matter of, you got a girl, man, she likes to maybe party a little bit, you're trying to get a little loose.
And like I said, that's
trying to
just
have a good
conjecture.
time.
Someone
Yeah.
that watches this, they can be pissed off, whatever. But I'm just saying, so small percentage of just, I just want to high all the time. They don't have to have a specific reason other than I enjoy being high. Some people go back like, oh my goodness, you know, death happens, or a memory or trauma that they can't be free of. So let's rewind a bit. When you say shadow work, are you talking like specifically Carl Jung, psychiatry, psychology, shadow work? Because there's like literally a book that he wrote on shadow work.
Like I would say shadow work, like past pains, hurts, like
That's what the
like,
whole book's about.
like demons,
It's
darkness
a
in you.
process.
You're trying to bring forth. It'd be
Right.
like trading pain for peace.
Except for the psychiatry, psychology version leaves God out.
Well, shadow work would be with God. Dude.
Yeah.
How do you not do shadow work with that?
Right.
So, I don't know.
That's why I was just curious.
I don't break down my theology too well, and I don't really care too much about
Well,
it.
psychiatry is not theology, unfortunately.
When you're
But
saying
it's not.
shadow work would be a type of theology.
If you're using shadow work as a
in your
general-
context.
No, it's not, because to
Oh,
me,
man.
listen, to me, the idea of shadow work is what Carl Jung developed.
I'm not sure who Carl Jung is.
He was like the psychology god, basically. I mean, he like wrote the book on it, him and a couple other guys.
I don't know. I just know if I say.
But it's a process.
I
If you
just
look at
know
it,
if I
it's very
say-
similar to the 12 steps.
I just know if I say trading pain for peace,
I know
most
exactly
people,
what-
well, you would, but I'm thinking people that listen or want to hear the show, they're not going to quite understand trading pain for
Right.
peace. But then they would, most people would understand the concept of shadow work. You know what I mean?
Well, because it's like a big thing in psychiatry and counseling.
Yeah. So there
Yeah.
you go.
But at the same time, it's if you as an individual intertwine it with Christ, then it's a great thing.
Exactly.
But if you're only doing what
That's
the
what
book
I do.
says, then it's.
That's how I
I
work
think
it,
it's
I
still missing
suppose.
this piece, and that's where I was kind of going with, like, when I see these people that keep going back, they can have great recovery. They can be doing steps. They can be going to meetings. But at the same time, they really embrace this higher power of their own
Well,
understanding.
like if you're doing a 12-step program, I would even base that as like a type of shadow work.
Well, because they use that same psychology that was in
Yeah.
what I don't know.
So a 12-step program would be, yeah, I would say that's in line with shadow work, or
Right.
at the same time trading pain for peace to a point. Yeah.
The process is similar. I wouldn't dispute that.
Yeah.
But if you're saying specific to the psychology of this book, and I think it is like literally called shadow work. I have to do some research on it. A friend at work brought it and printed all this out, put it in a binder, right? And so the first step of this is you have to write your story, but it guides you how to write it,
Huh.
right? So then I never got past chapter 1 because I was like, nope,
Yeah.
not even doing this.
Yeah.
Why would I want to relive stuff I got set free from?
Well, yeah, it depends on where you're at in your
But for
walk.
it to be effective, yeah. So I'm past that point now.
Right.
For the other two girls that were doing it, they really could have benefited from it, and they really, there again, boys and girls, the way they do things are just
Yeah.
different.
And like
So, yeah.
where I would stand though too is like if you're going to do any type of shadow work and to really experience, really to be set free and that true enlightening moment, you know what I mean?
God has
And-
to be involved.
Well, God has to be involved. Christ would have to be involved because I mean Christ is going to meet you there. You're going to lay them down, and then God's going to step in and talk to
It's
you.
not something you can fake.
No,
You
not
can't
at
go
all,
to your
man.
you can't go to your made up Jesus and lay it down at a cross that's unaffected.
Yeah, and if you're going to do that again, you have to be prepared and have to almost be ready for that because you're going to have to feel so much, man, through that process. You're going to go through grief, you're going to go through shame, you're going to go through anger, you're going to go through, I mean, you name the emotion, man, I assure you, you're going to feel it, and you're going to be feeling so much of things that you've done throughout your time, you know what I mean, on dark side of things. And then you're going to have to work through those, feel that, and then be set free from such experiences.
No, absolutely.
And such emotions.
But I think
and such
Christ.
feelings.
I think that going.
And Christ is the only way that I got through it, man. I can say that, you know, you continue
you
to
could
try
look-
to work through it, and you keep on
You just go back to the
relapsing.
same thing.
Exactly. Then that cycle continues to happen because I mean, shoot, I've tried it. I've tried all kinds of different ways, you know what I mean, to be set free and trying to work it just because I was so rebellious against it and didn't quite understand it or grasp it. So then to actually begin that process and that movement and preparation and movement towards Christ, towards God, and allow the Spirit to work in that moment, and then to be guided, you know what I mean, by a mentor in that moment, and to actually work the process truly as it should. Oh, dude, and it was hard.
Yeah.
Oh, it was such a hard process, man. I mean, it took a long time. I mean, through my process
is a
of it.
process.
I know weekly, if not more than weekly, and just depending on how my life was going at times, because dude, it was like just so much things were coming up, and we worked through the process. Then you have to work through that, and then just continue to let
I
things
think
go.
the first year that I was in recovery,
Yeah.
I think Trish and I went to
It was not easy.
a meeting of some sort every day
Yeah.
for right at a year. I mean, obviously, we did the 90 meetings in 90 days, but we just continued out of that. And then shortly after that, life recovery started, which started just once a week, it was only on Sundays, and then now meets every day now. But at a point, even for me, being raised a civil Christian, going to church, knowing God, knowing the power involved in the Holy Spirit, it's like, it took me a while to like fully surrender. I'll really admit that. But when I think of this, and I look and it's generalized, and it's just general because I don't know all these people on a very personal level. So if I see me, whatever, the one thing that's missing is this knowledge of true God. They really love that part in parentheses says, as we come to understand, as our group conscious expresses. And I've watched
that's changed over time, dude. That's changed over time, right?
I have watched it change in 7 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's changed. Like the original.
A lot of people were going to church and actively involved in church, and they were free to talk about God. And then all of a sudden, this new wave of people come in, and Trisha basically got run out of one because she read a devotional. She didn't even read scripture. She read the devotional. Now, what I thought was funny is the higher ups there said, well, if you would have cited it from memory, nobody would have been upset. But the fact that she opened her Bible at an NA meeting upset the balance of life of people. And of course, my response was check with your sponsor then.
Yeah, I would too.
And if you're so upset that my wife read the Bible that you're considering,
I would say you have things to work on.
Then, huh?
I would say they have things to work on at that point.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how I would look at that.
I do, and you're talking to a guy that loves tradition. I never thought I'd ever read the Blue Book in NA. The only reason I read it was to see if it really said in there something that you shouldn't read the Bible in a meeting, because that's what they cited.
They didn't say that.
Huh?
They never said that in the Blue Book.
The NA.
For NA?
I have to find it, but I read more of that just because of that.
And it did say that?
No, I couldn't find it.
I don't say. I don't.
But that's what they cited. And it could be. There's lots of literature.
I call Cap.
It does say in there that God is understood as the group conscious expresses. So whatever the majority of the group says, that's the God of the group. That's the expression.
Well, then at that.
So you can't go in there and
Well,
say,
then because we're getting kind of off topic, but to my understanding, you're high in the NA. It is your higher power. So
as you
and it doesn't. Yes,
but
as you understand them, but it doesn't say your higher power as the group understands them. So I would call.
If you look to the group guidelines, that's what it says. It said they read it literally at the beginning.
Yeah.
Of the
Oh
meeting.
yeah. And it says as you understand it. But so Trish understands it as God. You know what I mean, of Christ. Or whatever, you know what I mean. That her take on it. So how come her higher power is not acknowledged, you know what I mean, or you know what I mean, not really acknowledged, but respected, because you would have to respect so and so. You know, a tree would be his higher power,
at the end of the day,
and then I would have to respect that in the room.
Said that the Holy Bible is not approved literature. That's what the group conscious there at that meeting said.
Man, I would call it. Yeah, I'd be like you're going against the NA book at that point.
Well, that's kind of what I thought, and that was my argument. So we just didn't go for a while.
Yeah, for real though. Because I'd be like, you guys are wrong, and
they'd
I'd
already
say
told me.
wrong.
They already told me to.
I've sat in plenty NA rooms, and I've never been chased out.
That's the weirdest one I've been in, and like I said, over time you see it sway. So it depends on the group that's there, but and it's
I'd be like,
but at the same time, it does it. That's the key and point. What the problem is, right? So we have books based on a book, right? That's based on another book. So you look to the big book and the scholarly people that help put that together were religious people. Not all of them were Christian, but they were all religious people. Okay, so you see this huge influence of religious things, prayer and
I would say
reading.
even more spiritual.
Well, then you going down
I guess we're
spiritual,
the
but
same,
not religious.
kind of the same thing though,
I-
really.
you can't
In my
have-
eyes, religion and spiritualism.
You can't have one without.
Yeah, exactly. We already had the podcast
Yeah.
early on. Listen to the episode.
Yeah, it's like the second or third one, and I've been chomping at the bit to do it again. Don't get me
For
wrong.
real though, you know that has actually
I
been.
cringe when I hear
Yes.
someone say that. Well,
Yeah, there's-
I invite them to church, and
Yeah.
they say, "Oh, I don't go to church. I'm spiritual."
Yeah, because they're both religious, they're spiritual, they understand that there is a divine being that is guiding us, directing us, and you know, and moving us, man.
Yeah, and
The whole
it goes
book
right
is
back to
designed
the
around
same
that.
thing.
The whole step work's designed around that, man.
If you look at the steps that are in the big book, and you
Oh.
go back, and I can't remember, and I'll probably clear it off as like I think it was Augustine. So this is like early centuries
Yeah.
after Christ. Basically wrote out this steps for. I can't think of the word, but like corrective steps for the church to offer to individuals to come back to the church, right? Not necessarily that they're excommunicated, but to be back in line with what the church wants, you know what I mean? And those steps, there were 7 of them.
Back in community with the church.
Communion.
Communion.
God, yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, there's...
I was gonna say
once you're
communion, but I know for your-
once you're excommunicated,
Say
there's
that.
there's basically probably, you're not getting handed any pamphlets anymore. Like, they don't want to see you. They throw you out in the abyss. And
Yeah, you've been
try to come
outcasted.
back.
Yeah.
They'll let you back when you're ready, but...
Yeah.
So when you look at that, then there's this very close parallel between what was written in I think Augustine was 7th century, some of the 600s. Then in 1930, here are these Orthodox. I don't even know. I don't know. Some really smart school of doctors and people. This guy comes in with this idea. They help him develop it. But so it's still based on their knowledge, what they've learned, and what they see working and not working. That's why AA was so super successful. And I agree. I think recovery should be available to anybody, whether you're agnostic or atheist or say, I don't care what it is. People are dying. I believe in preservation of life. Whatever it takes to get there. But I do believe that if you want your chances to be the highest that they can be, you're going to pick up the Bible.
Because
As you're going to come to a knowledge of God and the Holy Spirit's already working on you. It's just like that push because you're born to seek a spiritual higher power, right? Bar none. You're created to do that. So when you finally find the right one, it's like, man, I've been trying to stick a square peg in a round hole for a whole dang life. And it really is, the idea seems very complex, but it's so simple. It's so very simple. And once you start surrendering stuff, it's all over, dude. Like you can't wait to surrender the next thing. Like there for a while, I was almost creating chaos and I have something to surrender.
That's stupid.
Talk about an addict, right? Yeah. But you have to be careful. I see it. You think about when you get in some
is
super
funny.
charismatic places, Pentecostal charismatic circles, you can see how addictive false spirit can be.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that all the time it is, because but I'm just saying, you see it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Discernment and everything.
Yeah, and so yeah.
You recognize it for sure. You can see it for what it is.
It just wrecks me that, and it comes down to I'm powerless over what other people do. You know what I mean? Like, I have some really, really close personal friends that are struggling, and I'd like to lock them up. I'm being honest.
Well, there's a
Because
couple.
they're gonna die.
There's a couple that are locked up now that would like to get out of jail. They hit me up and I'm just like, yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
You're probably at where you need to be at the moment.
Well, it's easy to know where they are. That
Yeah.
helps. My little brother's in there.
And it's like,
And not that you can't use in jail. You still have to be recovery minded in jail and prison. In county jail, not as much as penitentiary. I've never been in penitentiary, so I'm only speaking from other people's experience. But I don't know. I had a friend that did about 8 years, and when he's on the streets, he actually doesn't use. But when he's in prison,
he uses all the
he
time.
says, I mean,
Gets out to get
might as
clean.
well.
Gets out to get clean.
Yeah. And
Good story.
his problem, well, I mean, it's addiction, obviously, but he really does well on the streets. He really likes nice stuff. And he doesn't want to spend the time to get to where it takes to have nice stuff when you can just take the neighbors. And it's weird, like he doesn't sell it. Why do you just keep all that stuff at your house, buddy?
It's just a different type of addictive behavior.
Absolutely it is.
It
And
is. It's
so
just another form of recovery that
Yeah.
he needs, and he probably doesn't recognize it as such.
It's very
because
strange to me, though.
because it's not drugs. It's not,
Yeah.
it's just nice things.
And there again, too, when he's in prison, he goes to church services, he's involved. But when he gets out,
He starts to get that structure. You know what I mean?
well, he's reminded of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. My heart, every time something like this happens, it's like I go back to the spot, you know what I mean? And I think of like the first untimely death I ever experienced in my life. I was a teenager, and a friend of mine, she was killed in a car wreck on the way to my house out in the country. And it's strange because it was before cell phones, you know what I mean? I was hardly ever home, so I never answered the home phone. We didn't have an answering machine or anything like that. I don't know why we didn't have one. I don't know. My dad didn't think we needed one, I guess. So I didn't find out. I was already not going to school. So the next day at work at like 3:30 when school got out, this group, I was working in a hog barn. I come out of the barn and there was like a couple of my friends' cars parked outside. And so the guy I work with, Frank, comes and gets me. He said, "You know Monica?" And I said, "Yeah." He looked me dead in the eye and goes, "Well, she's fucking dead."
Dang.
And I'm like, "Excuse me, what?" And he goes, "Yeah, these people came to tell you." And so I go out, they're all crying, a bunch of car full of girls and a car full of my buddies and little guys. And it didn't register to me then, really, what all that meant. You know what I mean? I was a pallbearer, and I love Monica as a friend. And what ironic thing is, the only fist fight I was ever in there was with her older brother. And I visited with him, he said he was in the military. He said on his way home, the only thing he could think about was kicking my butt. I said, "Are you trying to say you won that fight?" He punched me once, dude. I got you. But but
Yeah, you didn't quite grasp or understand.
I didn't. But
The
even at the same time, when I got the news today of someone that I don't know,
Right.
I know of,
Exactly.
I go right back to that spot and remember when I finally realized like how grief works. And it was in my 20s. You know, when Zach killed himself. I was on medication for mental health that you just don't feel anything. You know what I mean? You're happy, I guess you would call it happy, but
Yeah.
you don't feel grief, you don't feel anger, you don't feel any of those things. I spent a lot of time
I don't call it
drinking.
happy. You lack joy.
Well, you're just blah.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I call it zombified.
I spent forever drinking.
I don't even know if you feel happy. Really.
Right. I spent forever drinking so I wouldn't have feelings.
Yeah.
You know. So all those hit all at once, but it's that process. Like I tried just the big book process, and it did help me. Don't get me wrong, it did. But going to godly people and like pouring it out to them,
It's
and then the no judgment in return.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, my first sponsor, he was judgmental.
Mm.
You know what I mean? He really wasn't, but that's how it came off.
Yeah.
You know, and even all my sponsors have kind of made me feel a type of way. And that's why I just I don't call them sponsors. I mean, I have a list of people that I use, not just one. And not all of them are even familiar with the steps, but I don't know. I don't even know how to intervene on this stuff. Something has to be done.
Mm.
I can't, like I said, for every person that gets out, a dozen or more are coming in. For every person that gets out of addiction, a dozen or more are lined up ready. You know, Pastor asked, he goes, "That doesn't seem like a very good business model to load up something that doesn't kill you with a chemical that does." And even for him, it's like, that's a terrible business. He's a business. He understands business. And it's like, yeah, you understand, one, highly addictive, so they keep coming back. And when someone does pass away, the first thing people say is like, "Oh, I want that. They could handle it, but I can't." And so there's that.
I think it just comes down to, man, it's just you have to be, you have to choose. You have to choose to make that process. You have to choose to put in that work. And you have to choose to stay focused on such work. And you have to, and
You have a choice.
And I just don't think, and I mean, I would just say a lot of people can't do that, or unwilling. I shouldn't say they can't do it. They're just unwilling to do it.
The book says
or,
it takes a
like you said,
rigorous honesty, and there's a few that can't be honest.
Well, also you have to be willing to sacrifice things you might want to do or like to do. Like you said, like some people just like to get high sometimes. So I just feel like getting high today.
Yeah.
Well, you have to realize that you're going to have to give that up.
Right.
You're not going to be able just to be like, hey, one day, like I got a year under me or something, and be like, hey, I feel like I like to get high. Because if you like to get high, maybe that one time, that's all it needs.
I
You're
think
dead,
also,
in jail. Like I know guys that have had a year clean time, and they go out and have a good time, and they wake up in jail the next day and looking at
10 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got it. Yeah. Like right now, dude. Good dude of mine. Looking at more than 10 years, just because he decided to have a drink, go out and have a good time, and it just wrecked him, dude. Just wrecked him. Yeah.
At what point? I mean, like my little brother's a habitual violator.
Yeah.
And when he came through the treatment center, I was amazed. I mean, I know that he gets people love him, and it's not for lack of love. I mean, he was just he was checking all the boxes. He was saying all the right things, but he was just, I guess, just going through the motions. I have no idea.
But I would go back to what I was originally saying, is that they just don't go back to those cores. You know what I mean? They don't confront those things that they've progressed throughout their addictive life that they've picked up on, and they just don't put in that work.
Yeah, Facebook over there.
Yeah.
We pulled up my post from earlier for one of those.
Oh,
I was looking
yeah.
at your watch, and I don't know how much battery I had because when I got up earlier, my phone was at 29%.
Yeah, so shut it down.
So, but yeah, on my Facebook, if you go to my page, I'll post it. I post this prayer every time. Maybe I should post it every day, but every time someone passes away from an overdose, I post this prayer.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and heart it right now. See, before I even read it, right?
You already know what it says.
Yeah.
We should have it memorized,
I do.
unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know. If you're struggling, reach out. I mean, there's somebody. And I mean, if you're struggling and you don't have anybody and you're watching this, I mean, I don't know if you can private message on YouTube, but somehow figure it out. I have a Facebook page tagged to it where you can get on and private message me or Keeler, and we want to help you. I think bar none, pray and pray and pray and pray and pray simple.
And just don't give up.
And
Don't stop.
it does.
Continue the fight, man.
I did so good till
No
this
matter
now.
what,
Now I feel a
continue.
little emotional.
Yeah, continue the fight no matter what. Cause I know there was, like I said, there was instances where, I wanted to give in so many times, and it would be like I was at that end point, and it's just like, in that moment, I just chose just to, I'm gonna continue the fight.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up. You know what I mean? I'm down, like I'm at those, that rock bottom. I don't know how many times, and it's just like, and it would be just over and over and over and over and over. It would just tear you apart.
Yeah.
Just continuously getting broke down. But it was like, I'm not giving up. I'm staying in the fight.
There's only one reason I'm free, and the big book right in the front says this is dedicated to the thousands, like tens of thousands of men and women who have recovered. We leave that part out. We leave that in like it's in some scare quotes or something. and for today, I believe I am recovered from alcoholism and meth addiction, and the list goes on. Like I said,
I believe it and know it.
And it's not for lack of struggle.
No.
I had a terrible June.
Dude,
It took me all month to figure it out.
It sucks sometimes, man.
Been off 3 days this week for physical health problems.
Yeah, but I stay in the fight, man. Just keep going.
Yeah.
It gets
So,
better.
Anyways,
All right, here we go.
Yeah, let's close it
All
up.
right, I offer my prayers to the still suffering addict. Bless Lord, you touch all who come to you. Look with mercy upon all who through addiction have lost their health, their way, their freedom in Christ. Restore them, Lord, to an assurance of salvation. Remove their fears. Restore their resolve to trust you. Strengthen them in their work of recovery. And bless those who love the still suffering addict with the patience needed to pray them through the fires of God into your waiting rooms.
That's me. I love you, boss. Love you guys.